Just last week in Japan, a man climbed inside a glass sphere and rolled effortlessly through rush hour traffic. In Poland, a wingless bike lifted its pilot 600 feet into the air, using technology that seems to defy physics. Meanwhile, in California, a car drove down Highway 101, then took off and flew over it. These aren't distant dreams or experimental prototypes anymore. They're real machines, ready to ship straight to your doorstep. Each of these 9 groundbreaking vehicles is unlocking a different part of the same revolutionary puzzle, making personal flight as simple, safe, and affordable as driving a car.
The Vololonaut airbike. On April 30th, 2025, inventor Tomas Paton quietly uploaded a short video that set the internet ablaze. In the clip, a sleek, matte black machine glides low over a forest valley in Poland, hovers gracefully in midair, then lands smoothly on a dirt path. It wasn't CGI, it was real. This was the Vololonaut airbike, a genuine flying vehicle that looks like it came straight out of a sci-fi blockbuster. Paton, co-founder of Jetson 1, developed the airbike in complete secrecy for over 2 years. What makes it extraordinary isn't just how it looks, but how it flies. Unlike typical flying machines that rely on wings or spinning rotors, the Vololonaut airbike uses miniature jet turbines concealed within a razor-thin carbon fiber frame. This frame, 3D printed for maximum strength and flexibility, is 7 times lighter than a standard motorcycle, yet strong enough to withstand the extreme forces of flight. Riders straddle it like a motocross bike, leaning forward into a 360-degree panoramic view. No spinning propellers beside them, no rotor wash, just pure speed and freedom. A sophisticated onboard flight computer responds instantly to even the slightest shift in the rider's weight, adjusting thrust in real time for balance and stability. According to Paton, the airbike can reach speeds up to 124 miles per hour while flying quietly enough to move through urban areas without disrupting the environment. On a single tank of fuel, it can stay airborne for around 20 minutes, enough to cover a 10-mile radius, turning short commutes into thrilling aerial hops. Weighing under 90 pounds, experts say the airbike boasts a thrust-to-weight ratio better than most racing drones. Though details about its turbines remain secret pending patent approvals, its control systems and flight helmet borrow heavily from Jetson's proven technology, like the $128,000 Jetson 1. Video footage shows the airbike slicing through treetop ridgelines, darting between branches, and holding perfectly steady in gusty winds, proof of its precision and agility. Polish tech outlet White Mad praised its potential for search and rescue operations, especially in rugged or remote areas. There's still no official price tag or delivery date, but excitement is mounting among first responders, investors, and urban air mobility pioneers. A compact, rotor-free flyer like this could land on rooftops, inspect power lines, or even make city commutes a matter of minutes. Paton says more test flights are coming soon, next time with a city skyline as the backdrop. And if a flying bike without rotors already sounds like science fiction, just wait until you see what Toyota has made street legal.
Toyota's drivable sphere. In April 2025, something truly extraordinary rolled out of a Toyota test pad in Japan. A giant, transparent sphere, about the size of a hot tub, gliding gracefully across the pavement. Inside the 6.5-foot-wide globe sat a 2-seat passenger pod, and with a gentle nudge of a joystick, the entire sphere rolled forward like a futuristic hamster wheel on steroids. A crowd of more than 200 onlookers gathered instantly, amazed by what they saw. The creators, a volunteer team from the Toyota Engineering Society made up of over 20,000 engineers, had achieved something remarkable. From concept to full-scale prototype, the drivable sphere came to life in just 4 months. The crystal-clear dome was crafted by Shinshi, a Japanese company known for manufacturing the thick acrylic walls used in massive aquarium tanks, the kind that hold tiger sharks. Using precision heating, molding, and polishing techniques, Shinshi's engineers fused the panels so seamlessly that the joins are nearly invisible. The finished sphere weighs around 400 pounds, light enough for 2 people to roll manually. Inside, a minimalist aluminum frame holds the passenger pod steady at the bottom of the sphere. Instead of relying on seat belts, gravity keeps riders upright as they roll. For movement, 4 rubber-tired drive wheels, each powered by electric hub motors from Toyota's existing EV lineup, propel the sphere forward. Early prototypes barely moved a few feet, but after software updates, the latest version can reach speeds up to 10 miles per hour and even perform a true zero-turn spin, perfect for navigating tight urban spaces. The experience inside is like sitting in a floating bubble. The clear acrylic provides panoramic visibility, and Toyota is already developing smart glass upgrades that will automatically tint in sunlight and project speed, battery level, and navigation data directly onto the dome. Despite the public excitement, Toyota has confirmed that the drivable sphere won't hit dealerships anytime soon. Instead, it's being tested exclusively in Woven City, Toyota's experimental smart city near Mount Fuji, where traditional traffic laws don't apply. This unique environment allows for low-speed, autonomous experiments without concerns about suspension, crash protection, or weather grip. Engineers are now working on hill balancing software and exploring lithium iron phosphate batteries to extend its runtime beyond 30 minutes. While Toyota perfected the art of rolling on land, halfway across Asia, a Chinese company quietly achieved something even more ambitious, solving how to fly without having to choose between ground and air.
Ardor Sky Rider X1. In early January 2025, the crowd at CES in Las Vegas froze in awe as a sleek, matte black scooter from the Chinese company Ardor rolled onto the floor. Then, without warning, it unfolded 4 carbon fiber arms, each holding 2 propellers, and lifted straight into the air. This wasn't a prototype hidden behind glass. It was the Sky Rider X1, a fully functional flying scooter that merges a street-legal electric moped with a vertical takeoff and landing (VTOL) system. Once airborne, its wheels retract into the body, and when it lands, the arms fold neatly back in, shrinking the X1 to the width of a regular motorcycle, perfect for city commutes and easy roadside charging. Official flight data released after the demo showed the X1 climbing to 656 feet and cruising steadily at 62 miles per hour. Flight time depends on the battery pack. The base SEL model offers around 25 minutes, while the SX version stretches that to 40 minutes, giving it nearly 40 miles of aerial range. That means a trip from San Francisco to San Jose in under 15 minutes, while everyone else is stuck in traffic. On the ground, its hybrid electric drivetrain delivers up to 112 miles per charge, making it both efficient and versatile. Despite its capabilities, the entire machine weighs only 176 pounds, lighter than most motorcycles, yet strong enough to lift 264 pounds of payload thanks to high-torque hub motors and a carbon fiber aluminum frame. Ardor equipped the Sky Rider with a triple redundant flight computer that manages weather avoidance, route planning, and automatic takeoff and landing. In case of a total power failure, a ballistic parachute deploys from the rear to ensure a safe descent. Piloting the X1 feels intuitive. Twist the throttle to climb, tilt the handlebars to rotate, or simply activate autopilot and follow the route through a heads-up display. During test flights over Lake Mead, the X1 transitioned from ground to hover in under 10 seconds, dodged floating buoys autonomously, and touched down smoothly on its amphibious skids. 2 versions are available, priced between $50,000 and $60,000, a fraction of the cost of last year's $1 million hoverbike prototypes. Pre-orders sold out in just 48 hours.
With Chinese regulators preparing low-altitude air corridors above Shanghai for 2026, daily commutes may soon include a detour through the clouds. No seat change required. The Skyrider proved that hybrid flight is no longer a fantasy, but one company has been chasing this dream for nearly 2 decades, and their next step could take personal jetpacks to an entirely new level.
Martin Jetpack. Back in 2008, at the Oshkosh Air Show in Wisconsin, the crowd fell silent as a strange carbon fiber frame rolled across the tarmac. It looked like something straight out of a Buck Rogers movie, futuristic, bold, and almost unbelievable. That machine would become known as the Martin Jetpack, a one-person vertical takeoff aircraft built in Christchurch, New Zealand. But unlike the fiery rocket packs of science fiction, this one ran on a 2-liter V4 two-stroke gasoline engine, delivering nearly 200 horsepower. The engine powered 2 ducted fans that pushed cool air downward, lifting both the pilot and the pack gracefully into the air. Over the next decade, the Martin team built more than 30 different prototypes, each iteration bringing them closer to something truly practical. By the final model, the specs were impressive. An empty weight of 441 pounds, a payload capacity of 265, and a top speed of 46 miles per hour. It could climb to over 8,000 feet and stay airborne for up to 30 minutes on a single tank of premium fuel. And, just in case things went wrong, a ballistic parachute could deploy in half a second, saving the pilot from a deadly fall. Its fly-by-wire controls and vectored thrust system gave it an uncanny stability, enough to hover beside skyscraper windows or hold position over a cliff edge. That stability caught the world's attention. In 2015, Dubai Civil Defense ordered 20 jetpacks, hoping to use them to reach the upper floors of the Burj Khalifa, faster than any fire truck or helicopter ever could. Soon, first responders and military agencies worldwide were watching closely. But while the technology soared, funding crashed. Between 2014 and 2017, Chinese firm Kangxi Science invested tens of millions to keep Martin aircraft alive. Yet the rising costs of innovation outpaced new capital. By July 2023, the dream seemed over. The company went into liquidation, auctioning off 7 prototypes, along with its test rigs and design data. One prototype alone fetched $158,000. Then something unexpected happened. An unnamed international buyer quietly purchased everything: the hardware, patents, and all the design rights. The timing was perfect. The FAA had just finalized new powered lift regulations, opening the door for a new generation of personal flight. Analysts believe this mystery buyer saw what others missed: the Martin Jetpack's potential to dominate a market projected to grow 5-fold in the next decade. Engineers connected to the new ownership are already reworking the design, replacing the noisy gas engine with a hybrid turbine-electric powertrain for longer range and quieter operation. If test flights move forward in late 2026, under Part 107 drone regulations, the Martin Jetpack could rise again, not as a billionaire's plaything, but as a life-saving machine capable of reaching 30 stories in under 30 seconds. And while the Martin Jetpack prepares for its second flight into history, another company took a completely different path, asking a bold new question. What if flying could be as easy as riding a ski lift?
Hexa. On a windy spring afternoon at Osaka's World Expo 2025, a strange, spider-legged aircraft quietly lifted off from the Smart Mobility vertiport. It hovered effortlessly above a mirror-still reflecting pool, then touched back down with barely a whisper. This was Hexa, a one-seat electric multicopter built by Austin-based Lift Aircraft. And despite what early reports claimed, it doesn't have 8 propellers, it has 18. Each rotor has its own electric motor, all powered by quick-swap lithium-ion batteries.
That design gives Hexa around 15 minutes of flight time plus reserve, cruising it up to 63 miles per hour and climbing to heights of 1,200 feet. Its carbon fiber frame, flotation pontoons, and ballistic parachute keep the entire aircraft under the 254-pound FAA Part 103 ultralight limit, meaning in the US, you don't even need a pilot's license to fly one. Just a short VR training session and you're cleared for takeoff. Japan got an early preview. In March 2023, Lift Aircraft teamed up with Marubeni Corporation for the country's first crewed eVTOL flight near Osaka Bay. During tests, the Hexa's noise levels stayed below 65 decibels from 50 yards away, about as quiet as a normal conversation. Since then, more than 200 people, ages 16 to 72, have trained using VR simulators that replicate Hexa's single joystick controls. Most first-time flyers describe it as playing a video game that just happens to lift you off the ground. Behind the scenes, a triple redundant flight control system quietly handles everything from stability to battery management. Even if 6 motors fail, Hexa stays airborne, and in the absolute worst case, its parachute deploys in just 0.6 seconds. Rather than selling Hexa to private owners, Lyft operates it like an amusement flight experience. In March 2024, they launched sessions in Florida for about $250 per flight. Now at Expo 2025 in Osaka, visitors can book 10-minute Skyline rides straight from the vertiport, guided by an AI-powered suitcase that rolls alongside guests, leading both sighted and visually impaired passengers to the launch pad. Founder Matt Kaysen says the company is already planning permanent flight parks in places like Lake Tahoe, Austin, and Okinawa. Like zipline adventures, he says, but in the sky. With the FAA's new powered lift regulations now in motion, experts predict that thousands of aircraft like Hexa could soon share the skies in low-altitude urban corridors by the end of the decade. Hexa made flying feel like a game. But for those who want to drive to the airport and skip the terminal entirely, another company has already built the answer to that age-old problem.
PAL v. Liberty.
Spotters at Breda International Airport stood frozen in disbelief as a strange three-wheeled coupe rolled down the service road, swung its tail boom outward, unfolded a massive 35-foot rotor, and began to lift off the ground in a slow, steady spiral. The date was June 3rd, 2025. And this wasn't just another test flight. It was history being written. The aircraft was the PAL Liberty, a Dutch-designed fly-drive gyroplane, now fully street-legal across Europe and officially approved to operate from the company's brand-new final assembly and delivery facility. At first glance, the Liberty could pass for a futuristic sports trike, complete with gull-wing doors and a sculpted carbon fiber body. But beneath that sleek exterior hides something extraordinary. 2 Rotax 912 ICE engines. One engine powers the rear wheel on the road, delivering 100 horsepower, while the other drives a pusher propeller in the air. Its empty weight sits around 1,465 pounds, with a maximum takeoff weight of 2,600 pounds, enough room for 2 adults and luggage. On the road, the Liberty hits 100 miles per hour and stretches a single tank of regular unleaded fuel nearly 820 miles. In the air, it cruises at 110 miles an hour, climbs to 11,500 feet, and covers up to 310 miles, or about 4 hours of flight time, before refueling. The transformation from car to aircraft takes just 5 minutes. A hydraulic mast raises the rotor, spring-loaded blades lock into place, and the tail extends an extra 3 feet for aerodynamic stability. And because its rotor spins freely in auto-rotation, the Liberty can glide and land safely even if both engines were to fail mid-air. Its ground handling system borrows from the legendary Carver 1 motorcycle, allowing the cabin to lean naturally into curves, whether carving along a highway or banking gracefully through the air. Regulators have taken notice. In late 2024, the European Union Aviation Agency, EASA finalized certification for the Liberty, and by April 2025, the company received a formal no technical objection, clearing the way for final flight testing and type approval later this year. Road approval came even earlier, meaning Dutch owners can literally drive their aircraft from the showroom straight to the runway. Approval in the United States is already in progress, though U.S. pilots will need a sport gyroplane license to take to the skies. The world is watching. The limited Pioneer Edition, just 90 units, sells for around $527,000, while the Sport Edition starts near $316,000. Reservations opened in May, and within 3 weeks, more than 300 orders poured in, representing over $150 million in potential sales. With rotor production now industrialized and an assembly line in motion, PALV says the first deliveries will take flight before the end of 2026. The Liberty doesn't just blur the line between car and aircraft, it erases it completely. But while the Liberty can transform from a car into a plane, the next machine on our list does something even stranger. It can fly sideways.
Alef Model A, the world's first street-legal flying car. On June 6th, a curious crowd gathered in San Mateo, California, around an old missile battery pad to witness something that looked straight out of science fiction. From the edge of the field, a sleek, mesh-covered coupe rolled forward in near silence. Then, in one breathtaking motion, it spun 90 degrees, activated 8 hidden propellers, and lifted gracefully into the sky. This was Alef Aeronautics Model A, and for the first time in public, their bold promise, drive first, fly second, became a reality. This flight came nearly 2 years after the Federal Aviation Administration granted Alef the first ever Special Airworthiness Certificate for a street-legal electric vertical takeoff aircraft, allowing test flights over California farmland. At a glance, the Model A looks like rolling art, its mesh frame gleaming like something from an Art Deco dream. But tucked inside that elegant lattice are 8 electric motors spinning carbon fiber propellers. The distributed thrust design keeps it quiet, stable, and light enough to meet Part 103 ultralight regulations during testing. The production version will weigh around 850 pounds empty, seat 2 adults comfortably, and even leave room for luggage thanks to its composite frame and structural battery tray. On the ground, the Model A behaves like a small city EV, cruising at 25 miles per hour to stay within neighborhood speed limits. But when the pilot taps the fly button on the steering display, everything changes. Sensors scan the surrounding airspace. The suspension rises. The propellers pivot into flight position, and the car begins its vertical climb. Once clear of nearby buildings, the body rotates sideways, transforming into a compact flying wing. In the air, the Model A cruises at 110 miles per hour with a range of 110 miles. Stick to the road, and you'll get nearly 200 miles per charge. Public interest has been explosive. Alef opened reservations in late 2023, charging $150 for the standard waitlist or $1,500 for priority access. By May 2025, more than 3,400 pre-orders had poured in, representing over $1 billion USD in potential sales. Production is already scaling up. Alef has leased an 80,000 square foot facility in San Jose and is scouting Texas for a second plant targeting over 10,000 units per year. CEO Jim Duchovny has even teased a larger 4-seat Model Z sedan capable of 300 airborne miles at a mid-range EV price. But for now, the Model A stands as the simplest and boldest promise yet in the race toward personal air mobility. Skip the traffic, land in the parking lot, drive the last block home, all in one vehicle. Alef may have mastered sideways flight, but halfway across the Pacific in Japan, another company has just taken things even further with the world's first certified flying taxi demonstration.
SkyDrive SD05,
Japan's flying taxi takes off. Early in 2025, at the newly opened Osaka vertiport, a gleaming white aircraft sat silently on the launch pad. Moments later, it rose, smooth, steady, and impossibly graceful, hovering about 16 feet above the ground before gently settling back down. The crowd of journalists stood speechless. For the first time, Japan's SkyDrive SD05, the nation's first three-seat flying car, had taken flight before a live audience. The test, held on April 9, 2025, just 4 days before the World Expo's grand opening, marked a historic milestone, not just for SkyDrive, but for Japan's aviation future. The production-ready SD05 stretches over 37 feet in both length and width and stands nearly 10 feet tall. Its clamshell cabin fits a pilot and 2 passengers, offering panoramic visibility through sweeping wraparound windows. Powering this futuristic craft are 12 whisper-quiet electric rotors, arranged in 6 coaxial pairs. The design ensures total redundancy. Even if one motor fails, the others can keep the aircraft airborne and land it safely. SkyDrive lists a cruising speed of 62 miles per hour, with a baseline range of 9 miles and a flight time of 5 to 10 minutes. Modest by today's standards, but company engineers say that upgraded batteries in development could double or even triple its range to 25 miles within 2 years. Inside the Advanced Air Mobility Pavilion at the Expo, visitors can step inside a full-scale mock-up of the SD05. Lightweight composite seats designed by NHK Spring make the cabin feel futuristic yet comfortable. A mixed reality simulator lets guests soar virtually over downtown Osaka or glide through the neon-lit skyline of Shinjuku, offering a glimpse of what daily air travel in Japan might soon feel like. One of the most impressive innovations is its modular battery pack. Designed for instant swaps, it can be replaced in seconds, just like a Formula One pit stop, allowing continuous operations without lengthy charging breaks. During the expo, organizers unveiled the Osaka Diamond Routes, a network of short urban flight corridors linking Umeda, Tennoji, Morinomiya, and the Bayfront. Passenger service is expected to begin later this year, pending type certification from the Japan Civil Aviation Bureau. Dozens of rooftop and waterfront vertipads are already under construction, laying the groundwork for a new era of city-to-city air travel. If Japan meets this timeline, it will still follow China's EHang, whose autonomous EH216S became the world's first officially certified air taxi earlier in 2025. EHang has already launched sightseeing flights in Guangzhou and Shanghai, supported by entire urban hubs designed for low-altitude commuting. But SkyDrive has a history of flying ahead of its time. Its single-seat SD03 completed Japan's first manned flying car test flight back in 2020, long before most competitors even left the drawing board. Now, with Suzuki as a manufacturing partner, the company has delivered something bigger, faster, and far more capable.
Pivotal Helix, the flying machine you can actually own. Just after sunrise on May 4th, a small crowd gathered outside Pivotal's hangar in Palo Alto, California. Moments later, a sleek black aircraft lifted straight into the air. Silent, smooth, and effortless. It tilted forward, gained speed, and glided down the runway at nearly 60 miles per hour. There was no roar of jet engines, no trail of exhaust, just the gentle hum of 8 electric propellers slicing through the cool morning air. For everyone watching, it was clear. Personal flight wasn't a dream anymore. It was real. The aircraft is called Helix, and it's built by Pivotal, one of Silicon Valley's fastest-rising aviation startups. Designed to meet the FAA's Part 103 ultralight classification, the Helix requires no pilot's license, meaning almost anyone can learn to fly it. Its entire structure, From the carbon fiber frame to the flotation pontoons and emergency parachute, weighs just 254 pounds, perfectly balanced under the legal ultralight limit, yet it can still carry a pilot up to 220 pounds, cruising comfortably at 63 miles per hour for over 20 miles on a single charge. Its secret lies in its 8 kWh battery pack and fixed-wing design. Once it reaches 35 miles per hour, lift from the wings takes over, drastically improving range and efficiency. But what makes Helix truly revolutionary is how easy it is to fly. It's fully fly-by-wire, meaning every movement of the joystick translates seamlessly to motion. Push forward and the aircraft tilts forward. Pull back and it climbs. Beneath the surface, a network of triple redundant computers constantly monitors temperature, battery health, and pitch angle, ready to take control the moment something goes wrong. If the system ever detects a critical issue, it executes an automatic landing. And in the unlikely event of a total failure, a full ballistic parachute deploys in under half a second, saving both the pilot and the machine. Most first-time flyers say it feels less like flying and more like controlling a high-end simulator. Precise, responsive, and safe. Pivotal opened orders for the Helix on January 8, 2024, with a base price of $190,000 and a 25% deposit to reserve. Initially, shipments were scheduled for June 2024, but after feedback from early users requesting upgrades like better leg room and a stronger glare shield, deliveries were delayed to early 2025, with all improvements added at no extra cost. Each buyer also completes a 3-day training program at Pivotal's California headquarters, combining virtual reality simulation with 7 supervised flights. Once you pass the final check ride, you're officially cleared to fly and handed your own custom flight helmet and keys. One aviation writer described it best: "It's the easiest pilot license you'll never need." But the Helix isn't just for adventurers. It's already being tested by California firefighters, who found it could cross 20 miles of gridlocked highway in under 20 minutes, landing safely in spaces no wider than a pickup truck. The Pivotal Helix isn't a prototype, it's a finished product. Proof that the era of personal flight has already begun. These 9 vehicles aren't science fiction anymore. They have price tags, delivery dates, and waiting lists. The question isn't if you'll fly to work one day, it's when your neighbor already is. Because in the race to the future, every breakthrough started with someone who refused to follow the rules.